Now, Trade Union Federation Cosatu slammed government's plan to slash the public sector wage bill. Finance Minister Tito Mboweni, you'll remember yesterday, announced a cut of more than 160 billion rand of the next 3 years. Cosatu, we understand, is currently holding a press conference. Let's get the latest. Now, Samkele Maseko is the man covering the story for us. Samkele, what can we expect today?
The Cosatu, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, is very much not pleased with the budget speech of 2020-21 by the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, alongside his Deputy Minister, Dr. David Masondo. They are saying that that was a very provocative speech that given by the Minister on his budget for the 2020-2021 financial year. They expressed their displeasure looking at the public wage bill and how the Minister says that must be reduced significantly, saying that they will be introducing various measures to make sure that they reduce this public wage bill. Remember that Cosatu has a number of unions, particularly within the public sector. You're looking at your SATU, you're looking at your Nahau, you're looking at your Tenosa, that are operating within the government sphere, and they have expressed their displeasure at the budget speech delivered by Minister Tito Mboweni. You'd remember that Cosatu, particularly with government, has had a very contentious relationship since the Nasrec conference of the ANC and since President Cyril Ramaphosa took over. There's been job losses whom they've described as a jobs bloodbath currently taking place within this current economic trajectory. You'd remember the various negotiations that are currently taking place at NEDLAC in every first week of the month. Those particular meetings at NEDLAC are chaired by President Cyril Ramaphosa alongside his deputy, that would be David Mabuza, and business labor coming into one environment to make sure that the various pledges that were made at the various investment summits are followed up and are actually implemented. Cosatu has not been pleased at the jobs bloodbath that has been taking place in the country. They've also criticized the trajectory that the government is taking and criticized Treasury and the Minister of Finance, that would be Tito Mboweni, and the economic trajectory that is taking this country, at times labeling the minister as implementing neoliberal policies in government as opposed to going with the radical economic, socio-economic transformation policy that was adopted at the governing party's government Lekgotla and also at the ANC-NEC Lekgotla. So they are saying that the minister is subsequently not going ahead and implementing some of the resolutions that they want this country to take, and for this economy to grow and for jobs to be preserved as to being the jobs bloodbath that is currently taking place.
So, Samkele, this is what the minister said yesterday with regards to talking about the wage bill as well. He says, once we get wage growth, corruption and wasteful expenditure under control, we will focus our attention on hiring in important areas such as education, police and healthcare. And we can hire strategically and better match skills with opportunities. Cosatu doesn't buy this. How do they, plan to engage with the minister taking this fight forward?
That's what we will be seeking to ask those questions to the Labour Federation on how they're seeking to embark with negotiations with the minister to make sure that there are no further job losses or the planned job losses that there are, particularly that government is planning. We do know that the Minister of Public Administration and Service, Minister Senzo Mchunu, has been given the task of managing the government employment service and also managing the employment that the government seeks out to those who are employed by the state, saying that there needs to be a huge reduction in the employee base of government, as that has ballooned the public wage that the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, has been talking about in the various discussions we've had as the SABC with Minister Senzo Mchunu about this particular issue, saying it's a very difficult and contentious issue, particularly with the labor movement, as they are against any form of shredding of any jobs. At some point, we did have the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, in his last budget speech last year, saying that they would be going into negotiations with senior public servants who are nearing their retirement to take early retirement so that they can ease the burden on the South African fiscus and on the Treasury's budget when it comes to the public wage bill. So these are the various measures that have been announced before by the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, that have not gotten any traction, particularly from the perspective of the labor movement. Some saying that you do have those 60-year-olds who are currently sitting and making legislation in Parliament, and they should be the first ones to voluntarily take early retirement as to going after those who are working for peanuts, particularly within the public service.
Yeah, the plan, I guess, is to save over 37 billion rand in the next financial year. We'll soon hear what organised labour has to say in this regard. Samkele Maseko, live for us in Braamfontein. Thank you very much indeed for your reporting.